Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and I was just thinking I'd like to do a puzzle soon with a path through it, and this has come up. This is Grid Racer by Jonesy, and he's asking us to picture a car driving around the grid in a loop or on a racetrack, so I'll have a look at that in a moment. Now, don't forget that on Patreon we've got our wonderful Off by One puzzle hunt by the PBN Institute, personified this time by Panthera. And all of the puzzles are Japanese sums with their clues off by one. Knapp Darnaben, if your German's up to it, mine isn't. Anyway, that's on Patreon, along with all our crosswords and connections and gridogram videos. And there's a lot of content there, so we urge you to join us there, please. It helps us out and we're very grateful. Now, there's also, of course, our apps, and they contain a lot of wonderful puzzles. The latest one is classic Sudoku, but we do have line and killer Sudoku. I think they might be relevant today, but I'm not sure I understood the rules on a quick skim through. We'll have a look at a moment at the rules. Those apps, of course, are bolstered by the worms, by luminaries such as Fistamafel and Michael Lefkowitz, so check those out, they're great fun. Now, the first link under the video is to this puzzle. It's called Grid Racer by Jonesy, and the rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply, 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Now, we have to draw a single closed loop representing the car's path along a racetrack viewed from above. The car drives clockwise around the grid through cell centers and moves strictly orthogonally, that means horizontally or vertically. The path may touch itself orthogonally, but mustn't cross or branch. So there's just one path, but it could sort of come back on itself, like that, if you see what I mean. Cages are obstacles which the car can never enter. The digit in any cell the loop passes through determines the car's movement. Odd digits go straight, but if you hit even digits, turn using the absolute numpad direction. So on your number pad, obviously 2, 4, 6 and 8 have arrows pointing, let's call them south, north, west and east. No, let's not call them that, because in the rules Jonesy calls them up, left, right and down. So 2, if we hit a 2, we go up on this path. If we hit a 4, we go left. If we hit a 6, we go right. And if we hit 8, we go down. The loop must visit each region at least once. And in each 3 by 3 box, the sum of the odd digits on the loop equals the sum of the digits inside the cage or cages in that box, and multiple visits of the loop contribute to the same total. Well, let's imagine the loop went through box 3 on those cells. The odd digits on that loop would sum to the total of the cage or cages in that box. Okay. A region without a cage, that's box 9, indicates that the sum of odd digits for that region is 0. So it's not just that the cage has not been supplied or anything, it's that there is not one. Okay, well, we've not seen a rule set like this. We have seen a rule set where we get directed before by digits. There was one I did which featured a fly trying to get out of the room. I don't remember who that was by, sorry. But so I don't know if it worked as neatly as the number pad directions 2, 4, 6 and 8. Anyway, that's what this one does. This is the sort of rule set that I don't think AI could understand. For instance, the bit about the car driving clockwise, that's a sort of general thing. It's not always moving clockwise, I presume, but it's generally pursuing a clockwise course around the grid. I don't know. Anyway, I think I understand what they mean. I hope you do. I hope I've explained them clearly enough. You can obviously try the puzzle yourself on the first link under the video. I'm going to restart my clock and say, let's get cracking. I don't think, despite this being a puzzle about a car racing around a racetrack, I don't think we're going to be talking about speed here. What I'm going to do first is colour the cells that the car can't visit. Oh, I see we're highlighting different sizes of cage there. Right, the car wasn't allowed to go into a yellow cage, but the racetrack does go into every box. So, I was going to say it must go through this passage, but hang on, could it? Yeah, it must. It could theoretically get into box 3. What I need is a loop drawer, don't I? I'm going to use the pen tool. So it could theoretically get into box 3 like that and out again. But it can't do that in box 2 because it would have to go through this cell both times. And it can't cross. And it has to visit every box. So I think the path must come through this region. Ooh, no, well down to there. And then it comes out into box 6 from box 3. Now there's a little island that it can't go through of yellow. It must surely go through this route. In fact, oh look, it's got to go into box 7 and come out of it again. Right, well that's easy enough. It's got to go through in that way and out this way, and then once it's gone out this way, it gets to this cell. And yeah, we've only got one node entering, is that the right term? I don't know, entering the top left. So we need another one, and that has to come through here. So these cells must all be on the path. And it's got to come through this, well, it's got to come through these two cells. I don't know, it could revisit. The business about however many visits it makes suggests that there are multiple visits to a box somewhere, to at least one box, but that could be a red herring. Okay, now I think we can do something with numbers, because whenever the racetrack turns, we can put in the number that makes it turn. So here it's going up, so that gets a 2. Here it's going left, so that gets a 4. Here it was going right, so that's a 6. And this one we know is going down, that's an 8. And this cell, some of these have to be odd because there's no change of direction. I hope orange is enough of a contrast. Maybe I should make the yellow green that we're not visiting. Orange is odd and is going to count towards these sums that we're going to have to make. We're going to have to come through this cell, definitely. Oh, somewhere up here there's a 4, no, a 6 to make it turn right. Somewhere in the top row there's a 6, obviously. Well, it's obvious to me now I thought about it. It wasn't obvious before at all. Yeah, somewhere down here there's a 4 to go left in one of these two cells. Actually, it can't be here, because if you went left here, you'd have to go left again when you got down here, and you'd need 2 4s. So the 4 must be in this cell. I think I might just have established a principle that we can't sort of chicane within a box. Yeah, that's going to work again here. You can't go north twice from that cell and that cell. So we're not going to go through this cell. We're going to go through here. And that's going to be the up arrow, which is a 2. And we can draw the racetrack going through that corner. Now, one of these is a down. I'm not going to rule out yet that it's there, although I think what I've been talking about might somehow rule out that that's a down. It might have to be here. And we've got to go into box 9, which is quite interesting. I still don't know if we can go this way. No, yes we could. 8 is down. So we could go down. But if that was an 8, this cell couldn't be even because it would see 2, 4, 6 and 8. So you couldn't change direction when you got to here. That's really interesting. So I don't think we can come through this cell because you would go down all the way to this cell. Let me just show you the path. And then you'd be blocked. You couldn't get into box 9 from there. Even if you'd been in it before, you couldn't have got out of it and back up to this cell. I don't know. I don't think this path that I've drawn of 4 cells is possible. And I don't think it's possible to go through row 4, column 6 at all. But now I'm just a little bit unsure. Oh look, these are all orange now as well. Maybe I can do something with numbers. That's orange too. Orange is even, is odd, where it just passes through without changing direction. Yes, I can't chicane up here either. I mean, it's not a real chicane, but you know, you can't shimmy. You can't right and left because that would need another 8. So I think we do have to pursue this path straight down out of the box to avoid having another 8 in the box. And now I can say that this can't turn left because it would need a 4. But it has to turn, so it must be a 6 turning right. Then we can't go here because we'd be shimmying again. We'd get an 8 down from there and an 8 down from here. So we can't go all the way to there. So we have to go straight down from here using an 8. I'm going to go at least down to there. I might be able to do more, but let me just think about it. These have gone orange. That's gone orange. I suspect I'm being very slow. It's probably really quick to just fill in this racetrack, but I'm struggling a bit with the concepts. Now, if there is an 8 in box 9, it's now down here. But this line could go down there and turn down there and kind of run around the box before it gets back to here. It could even come out here and go up all the way to there. It's going to be an 8 to turn down if we go into these cells. Or this is an 8. In fact, one of these two is an 8. And indeed, both of those two could be 8s because they're in different boxes. This sort of breaks, the shimmy rule doesn't apply if you're transitioning between boxes. Now, the shimmy rule, I don't know. No. Sorry, I keep saying I don't know. I don't even know what I don't know. The only even digit we could put here is a 4 and go left. Now, we've got this issue about box 9. We have to go into box 9. Oh, but there's no odd digits on the path in it. That was a rule, that a region without a cage indicates the sum of odd digits for that region is 0. There are no odd digits on the path here, so we can't go out here because even if you made the quickest turn there, you'd still have to have an odd digit in that cell. So I don't think we can come out here at all. I mean, obviously you could put that odd digit somewhere else, but we must come into this box, but only make turns. Now, I was going to say that the most plausible path is here, with one turn there. But that's wrong, because this digit would have to be another 8 for turning south. And that's strange. Do we have to go through 2 cells? But we can't have the odd digit. I think we do. Yeah, look, if I was to turn left from this cell with a 4, this would have to be odd, and that's fine, that's plausible. But we'd go into this cell, and then you could never get into box 9 and out again. So I'm not turning left from there, I'm going south from there, where I get another odd digit. Now here, I can't have an odd digit, so I've got to turn. We've worked out we can't turn right. We obviously can't go south again. We've got to go left with a 4. And now here I'm not allowed an odd digit either. I can't go south, and I can't go right, and I've used 4. So I've got to go north from there. So then I'm going to go left from there, which is another 4. That's legal. And one of these two is going to give me a south, or both, or there's... No, I can't come into this cell because I'd need another 4 to get to there. So there we go. It's an orthogonal connection, or a corner connection. This is an 8. These are orange. Now, we're fulfilling the rules okay. In box 9, we've got 0 orange and 0 cage cells. That's good. Now I'm going to start thinking about the numbers. I don't know what happens with the path. Obviously I know it goes through this cell, but I don't know how it connects up boxes 4, 1 and 2. So these 2 cells are both odd. So these, therefore they add up to an even total. 9 and 7 would be 16. Okay, I'm going to share a secret with you. The sum of every box is already known to us, just like every row and column. They all contain the digits 1 to 9, they add up to 45. If those two added up to 16, the rule says these would add up to 16. That's 32, plus 8 is 40. This pair would add up to 5. Because of that 4, there'd be a 2, 3 pair. This would be 9, 7. Okay, that works. If this was 9, 5, which is the next smallest odd pair, they would add up to 14, the cage would add up to 14, that's 28, plus 8 there is 36. These would add up to 9. And if we go any higher, any lower with the odd digits, we're going to have to add up to, well, a very significant number that you can't make here, I think. No, I mean, let's do the maths, just in case I'm being an umpty. 9 and 3 would be 12, 24, 32. No, I am being an umpty. I'm talking absolute rotten nonsense. These would have to add up to 13, and they would be a 6, 7 pair. Okay, I'm off beam on that. Okay, I can work out the parity of this cell, because the orange cells here add up to the same as the greens. Basically, that's what my color scheme has created. In each box, orange is going to add up to the same as green when I finish coloring each box. So orange plus green together is 2x, which is even, plus that is even. This digit is odd. Now, I'd love to color it orange, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say it's odd. Oh, but that's the 5 odd digits. So these are 3 even digits, and we know we can work out what they're going to add up to. They're going to add up to 18. So these add up to 18. Now the 5 odd digits add up to 25. 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. If we're going to make these 4 add up to 18, the one we're going to leave out, 25 minus 18, is 7. And we've got an odd digit into the puzzle. Hurrah! And I think there may be parity stuff elsewhere. Like in this box, we've got 2 oranges, which clearly add up to an even number, and 2 digits that clearly therefore add up to an even number in green, because it's the same number. And they can't include 2 even digits, because 2, 4, and 8 are gone. So they don't include any even digits. They're both odd to come to an even total. They're both odd. the only even digit we can put in the puzzle, in the grid, in the box, say the right thing, is 6. And that has to go here by sudoku, because we've worked out it's not in the cage. These two add up to the same as those two. So it could be 9 and 1 is 10, 3 and 7 is 10, that's a 5. Is that the only possibility? No. 3 and 9, 7 and 5, that could be 1. I imagine there's a version which would put 9 in this cell as well. 3, 5, so yeah, 1 and 7, 3 and 5. Okay, bother. Now, we've got two odds. Okay, what the heck? Where's 2 in this box? Again, 2 greens are going to have to add up to 2 oranges, so they're all going to be odd digits. And the 2's going to be up this side. And I can do the same up here, actually. I didn't really figure this out. 2 oranges there have an even total. So this cage is going to add up to an even total. So this pair is going to be an odd total, which makes it 1 odd digit and 1 even digit. And actually that doesn't really help. Okay. 4 and 8 by sudoku are going to get forced into this cage. Well, ooh. For it to have an even total, imagine that this was a 2 turning up. In fact, the only even digit that this can now hit is a 2 in one of these 2 cells. Oh, so we can't put a 2 in this cage because we've got to turn upwards from a 2 in this row for the track. So, brilliant. This cage is 4 plus 8 plus an odd number. So it's got an odd total. So we've got to reach an odd total with orange digits in box 4. And that is not going to be done if we turn here on a 2. Because we'll have 2 odd digits which add to an even total. So this one is not the 2, it's an orange cell, so that we can have 3 odd digits adding to an odd total. And then we're going to turn here in a 2. I was tempted to colour the cell blue, but that's not part of my policy for this puzzle. So we go north from there. Now, I know what parity this digit is if I think about it, because this is 4, 8 plus odd. This is triple odd. There's only odd left to go. So this digit is odd. Now, if this was 4, 8, 1, that would be 13, 26 for the coloured area, 32, 34, that would need to be 11. So it's not 4, 8, 1. If it was 4, 8, 3, that would be 15, 30 for the coloured area, and that digit would be a 7. If it was 4, 8, 5, 17, 34 for the coloured area, 36, 42, that would be a 3. And we're moving in chunks of 4 because we're adding 2 for the next even digit, the next odd digit here, and then we have to add 2 more into orange as well. So the next 4, 8, 7 won't work. So this is either 4, 8, 3 or 4, 8, 5. And that's 3 or 7. I want a bit more certainty about how these are operating. In this box, I've got 3 orange and 3 green. The 3 orange obviously add up to an odd number. The 3 green, therefore, also add up to an odd number. But they can't all be odd this time. So 2 are even and 1 is odd. And therefore there's 1 even digit in one of these 2 cells. Because we're going to put 2 even in the green. We've had 1 even there. We need 1 more. It's not going to be here because this sees all the even digits. So that is going to be even. 6 or 8. This is going to be odd. These are going to include an even digit. And it's going to be 2 by sudoku. By sudoku, 2 can't be in those cells. And by the rule about what orange means, it is definitely in that pair. No, hang on, there were 2 even digits and 1 odd. So these have another even digit in, because it can't go there. This is a 2-8 pair, and that's a 6. So, oh, well, I don't like, yeah, no, that's okay. I didn't like it because I thought the even digits were adding up to 10, but they're not. This is an odd digit. So green are adding up to 10 plus that. Odd are going to be, okay, I'm going to go through the maths again. So if green was 11, coloured would be 22, this would need to be a 13. That's no good. If green was 13, coloured would be 26, this would be a 9. If green was 15, coloured would be 30, this would be a 5. That would put 5 in both cells. That doesn't work because they're in the same row. So the alternative is going to be a 7 here, green adding up to 17, the coloured cells adding up to 34, that's a 1. Why am I finding this math so complicated? I think you're finding it very straightforward. Oh, 2 can't go there, that's sudoku. I find that a bit easier. 2 goes here. Can I place 6 and 8 in this box? 8's in one of those cells. 6 is in one of those cells, actually. So not far off it. Everything else is going to be odd. I think this is worth pursuing, is where do the odds and evens go? No, I'm going to have to do the path, because I just don't think I can really finish off what I know about the numbers without knowing where the path goes. So somewhere in one of these 2 cells, we're going to go right with a 6. Now, I think it's obvious that we can't go here because we couldn't put a 6 in those cells. So one of these 2 is going to be a 6 and turn us right. Actually, that solves this digit. Stops this one being 8. Sorry, that's an accident. I don't know whether... Yes, I do. If we didn't go... It's the shimmy rule. If we didn't go up to there, we'd use a 6 here and go to there, but then we'd need to go right with a 6 in one of those cells. So that's no good. So we are going to go up to there. And then we can't go up again from here because then we'd need another 6. So we go into the next box and we colour, well, we take out the 6. We colour these 2 cells orange because we're passing straight through. We put the 6 there. Here we're going to need a 2 to go up and a 6 to go right. We can't put the 2 there. We're going to have to put it here. And a 6 to go right. And that completes the racetrack. And that's an orange cell. Now, we're matching oranges and greens everywhere. Oh, what the heck is going on here? If these 2 are both odd, they add up to even, and that's a single even, but the only digit it can be, okay, it's fine. It can be 4, because it sees 2, 6, and 8. And then 1 and 3 are on the track in that box. Okay, now I've got to do all the normal maths here. I mean, this is exactly the same as where I had a 2 and a 6 here. But it's not, because there we had a 3-cell cage. Oh no, it does work that way. This is definitely odd. It sees all the even digits. So 4 and 8 are in this cage. And 2 odd digits. I don't know. Is that any use? 12 plus x, and those 2 add up to x. I think it means this is going to be 1, 5, or 9 again. Oh, I just need one of these cages to get done. I know I'm being really dense about this. I do know that. Let's keep trying to get the even digits into the puzzle. So 2 is in one of those cells. 8 in this box. I don't know. 6 is here in one of these two. 4, oh, that's good. 4 is in the green cage up there. 2, I don't know. Oh, ooh, Mark. I'm sure this isn't as hard as I'm finding it. 3, 4, 8. All of these are odd digits. Oh, again here, we've had 20 there, plus something divisible by 4 here, because it's 2 lots of an even number. And this is therefore going to be 1, 5, or 9 again. Maybe there's another good reason 5 doesn't work. No, I don't think there is, because this could be a 1, 9 and a 3, 7. There is no good reason why 5 doesn't work. Okay, let's come back up to box 3 and think about it again. I said if these were 16, 32, 40, these would add up to 5 and would be a 2, 3 pair. If these added up to 14, 28, 36, these would add up to 9, and we'd have put 9, 5 here. These would be 2, 7 or 3, 6. If they added up to 12, 24, 32, these would be 13. They would then be a 6, 7 pair, I think. If these added up to 10, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. They couldn't add up to 10 in that case, because 1 and 3 are unavailable. Right, so these add up to 12, 14, or 16. And they don't use 1. Is that any use? I don't think it is, you know. I think I'm just blundering around this track in the dark. Oh, look, No, I was going to say I know that 3 is in that cage. I do not. This column, 4, 6, 2, 8, 7, that can't be 4. But 4 and 8 had to be in this box, so they're now in those 2 cells. These are from 1, 3, 5, 7. And 9. 9 is in one of them somewhere. 4 and 8. That digit is 3 or 5. Is that any use? I think I'm woefully missing the point. Now, I can fill in this as 1, 5, or 9, I think, as well, because we've had this 6 and 2 situation somewhere else here. No, hang on, let's do the maths. 8 there, and then these are going to be an even digit times 2, so they're going to be multipliable by, well, they're going to be a factor of 4. Yeah, this is going to be 1, 5, or 9 again. We've done this box. I feel like that ought to have given me a slightly more tangible reward, if I'm honest. Oh, that 4, 8 pair are resolved by this 4. I mean, this could be huge, and I'm just not noticing it. 8 now has to be in one of those 2 cells. This is an odd digit. That's not going to help. No, that 8 is not going to be huge, I don't think. How are we doing on 8s? We've still got a 2, 8 pair down here. No, we haven't, because we've got a 2 in the corner resolving it. And that does actually fix where 8 is over here. And that's all the 8's done, I presume. Well, it is if I put the last one into box 2. Okay, how about 6's? We're left with 6's. I just don't. I think it could all come down to box 3, but let me just ponder this a little further. But this cage doesn't have an 8 in it. It does have a 4. It has one other even digit, which could be a 6 if that was 6 and that was 4. Or it could be a 2, but the 2 would have to be up here. If 4 and 2 were in that, that's 6 towards... Actually, if 4 and 6 were in it, it's 10 towards the total here. Yeah, 4, 6, 5, 1, 9, 7 here. There's no problem. It's just jiggling the maths. I can't do it in my head. I mean, I just can't find a way. I'm sure I'm being terrible. Why couldn't that be 5? Because that would have been 5 as well. That was the problem. So, 5's in one of these cells. Is that any use? No. There could be some colouring to be done here. I'm not sure. We've got 4, 8, 6, 2 in this row. I really think we're one step away from a complete understanding of the puzzle. Have I forgotten a rule? No, I haven't. We've basically done all the rules. We've done everything. As long as we make orange equal green in each box, we're golden. So here it's, oh, one of these is not possible. No, that's not right. 15, 30, 38, that makes, so 3 there puts a 7 there. A 5 there puts a 3 there. So one of these 2 digits is a 3 and that one isn't. That is the mildest possible information. These can't have a 3 in either. I mean, so what? I don't know which box is going to give me the information to get this resolved. There must be something. 6, 2, 8, 4. We've got 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 still to place everywhere. 8, 2, 6. 4 is there. This is the only box where we really know what the odd orange digits are. And we got that 7, and I haven't really used that either. Four, 6, 1, 3, 2 is in one of those, 8's in one of those. This is 5, 7, or 9. If it was 7, that would be 3, this would be 5. Would that do anything magical? I don't think so. Oh, there must be a way. Four, 8, 4 up here. This cage is going to contain 12 plus 2 other green digits. Oh, okay, this is a maximum minimum thing, isn't it? 8, 4, 3, and 1 is 16. That's the maximum. No, that's the minimum we can put in this cage, but it's also the maximum that can go in there. It's really blooming obvious. That's a 5. Now, that means this is not a 5 in the corner. Now, can I do this somewhere else? It would be the simplest fix, wouldn't it? But I thought about these totals in the other 4-cell green. I definitely thought about these totals. That's a 7-9 pair in this row. Everything else in the row is from, oh, this digit is a naked single. It sees that 7-9 pair and a 1-3 pair, and it also sees 4, 5, 6, 8. That has to be a 2. This is how we do it. Now there's a 2 in that cell by Sudoku. We've got 4 2s looking into box 3. That's a 2. That's a 6. That's a 4. These are a 1, 3. So I can just add up this green cage. It's utterly simple. 14. This has to be 9, 5. And that odd remaining digit left over, I shouldn't have said odd, is a 7. That's, although it is odd, but that wasn't the sense I was using it. That's fixed that, and this, and the corner is a 9. And now things are happening. Now there can't be 9 here, so there's a 9 in one of these cells. That's 1 or 3. Right, come on, keep it going, keep it going. 8, 2, 6, we know there's a 4 there. This column, 1, 3 and 7 still to place. This box, that's a naked 8. And these are a 5, 7 pair. In the row, we've got a 1, 3 pair. That digit's 4. I feel like that's definitely a 3, but maybe not. Okay, at least it got doable, thank goodness. I was literally going, there's no way of resolving it, and somehow I just hadn't done the adding up here. Right, stop wittering about that. We know there's a 1 in one of these cells, therefore that's not a 1. Didn't get to resolve this digit in this column. No. 1, 3 or 7 in this column. Oh, that's 2 out of 1, 3, 7 there. This is the odd digit out in this box. 6, 2, 8, 4. 10, 8, 2, 7. Okay, we are not finished. 6, 2, 8, 4. This isn't as difficult as I'm finding it throughout this puzzle. I'm sorry. 2, 8. I just feel it's not. I have got no proof of that allegation. Okay, those two equal those two. If this was 1 or 3, if this was 3, I'd quite like to prove it's not 3, because that'll have to be 3 in the column. So if this was 3, that couldn't be 1, because you couldn't get those to add up to 4. It would have to be 7. That would be a 1, 9 pair. This would be 5. Oh, that works fine. Oh. How irritating that is. Right, this pair as well. If this was 1 or 3, that would have to be 7. So it's the same here and here. Can I say one of these, whichever one is 1 or 3, is going to take a 7 in its box a knight's move away? Ah, 7 doesn't go in those cells, so 7 is in one of these two in this box, because that's not a candidate for there. So 7 is in green, and the pair can't have a 9 in there, for they can't add up to 16. If they were 7 and 5, that would be a 3, 9 pair. But they could be 7 and 3. If they were 7 and 3, this would be a 1, 9 pair. They could even be 7 and 1, actually. Oh, bother. Okay, where's the 7 in row 4? One of those 3 cells. Have we got a way of saying it's not here? No, I don't think so. If that's a 7, that's a 7. Then one of these two has to be a 7. can see that makes this a 9-5 pair. No, I'm talking nonsense. If that's a 7, it doesn't make one of these two a 7 because we've already got a 7 there. Absolute gibberish, Mark. Gibberish. Okay, if that's a 7, the 7 in the central box would have to be here. That would put, what would that do? That would make that a 7 and that a 7. We've already got one there. And we've got these two in place. Then we'd have a little X-wing on 7s down here. That seems fine. However, if that's a 7, we've got an X-wing on 7s there. That's a 7. One of those two, obviously these are already in place. I don't think it resolves again. I don't think it does. And now here we are. We're in another situation where I'm just missing whatever we have to get done. Should I be colouring 1s and 3s against each other? I've got very little other shots left in my locker, so let's try it. Yellow and pink. Yellow and pink. Now, that couldn't be yellow. Yellow couldn't be there. Obviously, that's one of each. That's not really adding to the sum of human knowledge. If yellow wasn't in this cage, it would have to add up to at least 12. Yeah, so if the other 1 or 3 wasn't in this cage, I think it would have to be, it would have to add up to 12, as would that, and this digit would be a 1. So I'm now going to say there's not a 1 in this cage. I don't know. I don't know if that is a safe conclusion. I don't want to actively draw an illogical conclusion. I realise I do it occasionally, but it's not voluntary. Oh, I don't know what to do at all. 7 is definitely in one of those two cells. So these are either 1, 3 or 1, 5. 9's in one of these with either 3 or 5. If that was 9, 3, you'd have 1, 7 here and a 6, 5. Oh, 6 is placed down here. That's been available forever. Doubt that it's going to make a huge difference, but you never know. It's always helpful to actually put digits in the puzzle. Do these have to have a low digit in? I don't think they do. I think they could... well, they don't have a 7 in. So if they didn't have a low digit, a 1 or a 3, then they would be a 5-9 pair, and that would be too much for this pair. So they do have a low digit in. They have a 1 or a 3 in this group. They don't have them both. Either 1 or 3 is in this pair, and this digit is not 1 or 3. Therefore, it's 5 or 9. I mean, that's a pencil marking I haven't previously achieved. Maybe it's not going to do anything, but you never know. In the row, then, 1 and 3, 1 or 3 is in one of these two cells and 5 or 9 in the other. This pair is either... What was this pair? It's either 3 there and a 9 here, or 7 there and a 1 there. That is a bit imbalanced. 7, 1 would make this a 1, which would make this a 1. And this digit, this couldn't be 1, 5. That would have to be a 9. So if this is a 1, that's a 9 apparently. If this is a 1, that's the 1 here, that's a 1. These can't be one and 5 because that's not enough. They can't be 1 and 7 because it can't be 7. They can't be 1 and 3 because that's really not enough. They would have to be 1 and 9. So if this is a 1, that's a 9. Under no circumstances can this digit be a 9 anymore then. One of these two is a 9, because if that's not a 1, it's obviously a 9, given the pencil marking. So one of these two is a 9. Now we've learned something about this box, where green and orange either add up to, it's 25 minus that, they either add up to 10 or 12. If it's 10, or 12, so 9 goes with either 3 or 1 somewhere. If that happens in orange, this is a 5, is it? If 9 was in orange there, that's a 1, that's a 1, that's a 1. Then orange and orange add up to 10. But if 9 goes here, then that's the 9 in the bottom cage. And that becomes a 3. Then 5's here. Hang on, what? If that's a 9, 9's in this cage. It could be 9, 3 though. If that's a 9, that could be a 5. And then I was wondering if I was going to be forced to have a 5 in this cell. And I think that would finish us off somehow if it was occurring. Wow, I mean, it's doing my head in. We were speeding along the track and I've basically made a 20-minute pit stop. 8624. That can't be 7. Oh, there's some simple way of doing this now. No, I have to keep focusing on this. This is the only place where I made any progress. I have to stick in this box. So, orange and green either add up to 10 each or 12 each. If it was 12 each, this would be 5 or 9 because of that. And then this would be where the 3 in the column went, and this would be 1. We'd have 1s in all of these positions, there as well. It's worth just following this through. A 1 in one specifically there. Then there'd be a 1 in one of those two. We know there's a 1 in one of those two, and I don't really know. So this is if this was 12. This couldn't be a 1. Couldn't be a 3. And if it was 10, could this be a 3 then? 3 there, 7 there, 1, 9 here. Let's just work that out. If this was a 3, that's a 7. Something might actually be happening here. If that's a 3, that's a 7. This is 3. That's 1, 9. This is 5, 7. That's 3, and that's 1. Okay, I don't think that broke. I don't think that broke at all. So annoyingly, it is possible for this to be 3. And if it's 9, that could be 1 or 3. The other one of 1 or 3 would be here. This would basically be purple, and that would be purple. And we'd have purples there. Purple would be 1 or 3. I'm just trying to see the ramifications of that. I can't. Well, one of those two would be purple. One of those two, that one. Okay, that's interesting. I'm just got to go through that again. So I was saying if this was 9, that would have to be a 1 or a 3. Oh, I was also thinking that there'd have to be 1 in that box, but that's not necessarily true. So that whole schema was wrong. Good grief, I'm so sorry that this is taking a ridiculous length of time. There's some absolutely blatant piece of work somewhere. 3's in one of those cells, so those can't be 3. If that's not 3, that has to be 3. Then this is a 3-9 pair. I'm going to say this can't be 3 anymore. If this was 3, that would be 3. What went wrong with that? Something went wrong with that. If this was 3, the 3 in this column would be here. I thought something went wrong with that. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't. Oh, bother. No, maybe that was too simple for it to be what would go wrong. Okay, if this was 3 though, 3 would have to be in one of those cells and would definitely be there. Oh, that just doesn't work at all. If this was 3, no, I've missed a cell. I've missed a cell. It's not right. It's not right. 3 would be the pink cell. Then you would put 3 definitely here in box, whatever this is, box 5. Oh, no, it doesn't work. Right, if that was 3, that would be 3 in box 1. That would be 3 in box 2. This would have to be 3 in box 5, given the pencil marking and everything, and there's nowhere for 3 in row 4. So that's not 3. It's that simple. Just needed one question of case testing. But if you can't find it, it's very difficult. Right, 17 in green, 17 in orange is 34, 42, that digit is a 3. Now, this had better help. That 5 there, this had better help. Otherwise, I'm going to be very angry. Right, there is a 7 in one of these two cells. So that digit is a 5. That one's a 7 now. Down here, we've got a 1-5 pair. Let's just take this nice and slowly and get it right. 3-9 there. So neither of these are a 3. In fact, they're a 1-7 pair. This is 5 in the corner. That digit is 9. This is not 5. Now, there is a 5 in this pair. There might be more, I can do that. This digit, well, let's just start with that. There is a 5 in this pair. So there's a 5 in one of those two cells. Let's just see what these add up to. No, I don't know, but okay, there's other sudoku to do. Don't worry, there's other sudoku to do. I'm not stuck. This can't be 5. So there's only one place for 5 in this row, and that's here. And now we know that green and orange in this box add up to 20, so they are 10 pairs. So this one can't be a 1. Thrilling information. This one is a 10 pair and uses the 1 or the 3 that's not pink and is yellow. Okay, these are 10 pairs. Why isn't that solving them? We got this 5. 7 is in one of those cells. I cannot believe this puzzle is still holding out. It's brilliantly keeping me at bay. This is 1, 3, or 7. That one is not 5. There's only one place for 5 in this row, and that's here. Right, these two cells, this is a 1 or a 3. If it was a 1, we couldn't make those two add up to 6, so that's a 3. These greens are a 1, 7 pair. This digit is a 9. Now we can't have 9 in those cells. In this column, I can do 1, and that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, and that's 3 in box 9 as well. Done. And this is a 1 or a 5 as a result. Now, just 1 7s left in many places. These add up to 10, we worked out. If that's 1 or 7, it can't be 7 because that's not allowed to be 3. So that's 1, this is 9. Let's get rid of the yellow and pink colouring because it's rubbish. This is part of a 3, 7 pair and is 7. This is a 3. That's going to sort out 1, 3 up there. That's going to sort out 1, 3 in box 1. This is now 9 and that's not. In fact, I can do the 7, 1 here. I would have thought that I can do everything easily now. 9 there. Now I might have to add up these. So take out the 19 on white and we're left with 26. That means each of green and orange has to add up to 13, and that gives us a 3 there. This digit's a 1. I think there were other simpler Sudoku ways of doing that I studiously eschewed them. And there we go. I think we're finished now. Thanks for playing. From Jonesy, aka Killer Joe on Logic Masters Germany. That's a pretty tough puzzle. Although I suspect I made the heaviest weather possible of it, and I enjoyed it. And that's the most important thing. Thank you for sticking with me. And wow, head wrecked. I'm going to have a long lie down. See you soon. Bye for now.